Powerful, powerful testimony. Did I get it right, Ms. Harris? It's Courtney Lake? Yes. Yeah, thank you. I'm sure Courtney's family is very grateful for you sharing her story. One of the things I hear the most often is to say their name. I hear that from moms and dads who've lost children and victims of crime. So thank you for sharing Courtney's story. Mr. Ombudsman, can I call you that?
You can call me Ben.
Ben, thanks for being here. Thanks for what you do. Right now, the Victim Bill of Rights, which was created in 2015, is coming up to its 10-year anniversary. Those rights, are they enforceable? If I come to you and I'm a victim of crime and I want my rights enforced, are they enforceable right now?
They're not. We negotiate as a federal complaints mechanism, but if agencies don't want to comply with them, there's not a solid mechanism to make sure that they're followed.
Why are they not enforceable?
Because the law itself has so many disclaimers in it that there's no right to appeal, no right to standing, and too much emphasis on discretion, even though that was trying to be protected. We need to strengthen it.
Been significant ask from your office, from MPs, from victims. You know, I have a letter here written to the Justice Minister in July, and nothing has been done to enforce these rights. Have you been given a reason or a response to that?
I think we've been asking for involvement across government to say we all have a role in responding to these things, and I think victims' rights aren't opposed to the rights of accused, and it's a nonpartisan issue. We all want to do better and support survivors.
I would challenge you a bit on that, because I think it does get partisan when the policy doesn't protect victims, and I think that's where it is partisan, because the politics are preventing the victims from having their rights enforced. There is in Bill C-75, 493.1 of that, it says, in making a decision under this part, a peace officer, justice, or judge shall give primary consideration to the release of the accused at the earliest reasonable opportunity and on the least onerous conditions that are appropriate in the circumstances. And for people who don't know, the word shall is considered mandatory language. This is in Bill C-75, which means that a judge has to give the least amount, the least onerous conditions that are appropriate. And when we look at your letter, you know, and what you're asking, what you've said, the same time violence associated with drug trafficking and firearms causes significant harm to Canadians. Many victims of crime have supported mandatory minimum penalties, believing they provide meaningful consequences. In addition, since victims and offenders often know each other and live in the same communities, support for longer sentences relates to personal safety. So Bill C-75 is preventing victims from having the justice that they want, because to Courtney's story, Ms. Harris, they're getting released. Would you like to see a change to Bill C-75 in this particular section here?
I think the document you just read from our office makes a clear recommendation to better consider survivor safety in release decisions, that there should be a duty to consult with survivors. We can't assume what protections might be effective. We have to talk with people to understand. The CVBR does say that every victim has the right to protection, and we actually have to interpret that at an individual level, but we can't assume that it will happen. It has to be brought into the criminal code so that the CVBR has effect.
Are judges, do they have the tools to consider victims' perspective when sentencing? I see you shaking your head, Ms. Harris. Do you want to comment?
Yeah, I can give a lot of very recent examples where the victim's safety has not been considered when it came to imposing conditions on individuals upon release. You know, police officers are bound by that very bill, where we try to have the most lenient conditions on, err in a elements of restraint. We try to not impose too many unreasonable conditions on individuals. However, from my perspective in the offices that I've worked, we say for intimate partner violence in particular that we take the conditions that are going to be impose the greatest safety. We've had situations where judges have released offenders, male offenders, to reside at the address the victim resides at, and said the police will remove the victim from the residence, which we absolutely will not impose that. So, yeah, we definitely have a lot of examples where and we're lucky in Newfoundland because we have a really good working relationship with the Crown attorneys. However, the consultation's not there with the judges in particular, nor is the training really there to kind of get with 2024.
I hear that so often about the training. I only have a few seconds left, and I was going to turn it over to my colleague to get some questions in, but I just wanted to put this on the record because this was the story that you guys shared with me at the roundtable. The St. John Syrian community is grieving and expressing shock following the slaying this week of a mother of 5 children who went to police several months ago about alleged abuse at the hands of her husband. He was out on bail, correct?
He was out 42 days when he kidnapped and killed his wife, his ex-partner.
And I just saw the heartbreak in your eyes, both of you investigators, that you knew it was going to happen and you felt like your hands are tied. So this trauma, the victims aren't just the people, it's the frontline staff. And I want to take a minute to recognize that as well, that you guys are also victims because you see the train coming and the trauma and the murder, and your hands are tied because of the justice system and these policies. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.